Morning class, we're going to go over 3.6 slopes of parallel and perpendicular lines. So we're going to relate how the slopes and parallel lines and perpendicular lines, how are they related, and now we're going to write equations using parallel slopes, perpendicular lines. So first of all, parallel lines, their slopes are the same. Perpendicular lines, their slopes are the opposite reciprocal. So the opposite reciprocal would be like 2. The opposite reciprocal of 2 would be 1 over negative 2, or negative 1 over 2. So 5, the opposite reciprocal of 5 would be negative 1 over 5. So we're flipping it. So if we had a slope of 2/3, the opposite reciprocal would be negative 3 over 2. So we flip numerator and denominator, switch the sign. So the opposite reciprocal of, let's say, negative 5/2 would be positive 2/5. So let's go ahead and look at it. So if we look at these lines, all right, are they perpendicular or parallel? So first of all, look at the slopes. You have 2/3 and 2/3. The slopes are the same, so that would be parallel lines because their slopes are equal. Come to this one. Look at the slopes again. 4 and negative 1/4. So 4 over 1, flip it, would be 1/4. We switch the sign, so these would be perpendicular. Come down to the last one. We have a slope of 3 and 1/3. If you look at the slopes, you have 3 over 1, and then 1 over 3. So it's close, but it doesn't have a negative sign, so this would be neither. So you go, we're going to continue on the same thing. Come here, what are the slopes? Well, we know what the slope for the first line is, it's 3/4. We don't know what the slope of the second line is. We have to have it y equals in order for us to determine slope. So we subtract 8x, divide by 6, and then simplify from here. So if I look at this slope now, 3/4 and negative 4/3. Now that's opposite reciprocal. Reciprocal, we flip it, and we switch the sign. So those would be perpendicular. Last one, go ahead and find the slope. So in this case, we divide by 6, subtract 4x, divide by negative 8. So if we did that, this line, you would have an equation of 1/2 x. This one would be 1/2 x. Your slopes are 1/2 and 1/2. So they are equal, so they are parallel. So we want to write an equation parallel to this line, and that goes through this point here, 5, 6, parallel to this, through this point. So we're going to use the equation y minus y1 equals m, x minus x1. We need to go through. The slopes are equal, so that means the slope of this line will be the slope that we use. So we're going to plug 3 in for our slope, and we'll plug 5 and 6 for x1 and y1. So my slope is 3, use the point. So y minus the y value of my point equals my slope, x minus the x value of my point. And now we simplify. Distribute 3 times x is 3x, 3 times 5 is 15, add 6, and you get y equals 3x minus 9. Come to this one. Perpendicular. So we want to find the perpendicular line goes to the point given to us. Well, first identify our slope. Slope is 2. What is the opposite reciprocal of 2? Flip it and switch a sign, which would be negative 1 over 2. So we identify the slope, negative 1 over 2. So we plug in that slope with those points. So y minus 9 equals negative 1/2, parentheses, x minus 8. Distribute the negative 1/2 through. Negative 1/2 times x is negative 1/2 x. Negative 1/2 times negative 8 makes it positive 4. Add the 9, gives you 13. So that's how we write perpendicular lines. So that's a lesson for it. Parallel perpendicular lines. Remember, parallel lines have the same slope. Perpendicular lines have opposite reciprocal. So switch the sign and then flip it.